Dear viewers, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be discussing the theoretical aspects of hire purchase accounts. In this video, meaning of hire purchase, parties to the hire purchase agreement, features of hire purchase system, distinction between hire purchase system and installment system, calculation of interest are discussed. Kindly watch the video till the end, like it, share among your friends and subscribe to the channel. If you are already subscribed, kindly ignore the message. If you have any comments about the video, please put your comments in the comment box. Now let's move to the presentation. Hire purchase refers to the acquisition or purchase of an asset, agreeing to pay the cash price and interest thereon by way of installments. It's an opportunity to the buyer not to pay the entire price of the asset, but still he can enjoy the possession of the asset. In other words, hire purchase means a transaction where assets are purchased and sold with the conditions such as payment will be made by the installments. Each installment will be treated as hire charges and ownership will be passed to the purchaser after payment of the last installment. So the parties to the hire purchase agreement are hire purchaser and hire vendor. A hire purchaser is one who agrees to pay the cash price and interest by way of installments, whereas a hire vendor is a person who sells the asset and receives the cash price and interest by way of installments. So now let's see some terms which are referred under hire purchase accounts. Cash down payment. This is also called as initial payment. Any amount paid immediately on signing of the contract by the buyer to the seller is called as cash down payment. Usually, a certain part of the price will be paid as the cash down payment. So then the next comes here, cash price. It is nothing but the present worth of the asset payable on outright purchase. Suppose, say for example, if the buyer doesn't want to pay in installments, then he has to pay the full price of the asset. That such a full price is nothing but what we call it as cash price here. Then the next one comes here, hire purchase price. Here hire purchase price is nothing but it is the sum of the cash price and the interest payable on the unpaid balance of the cash price up to the end of the period of the agreement. In other words, to say, hire purchase price equals to the cash price and the total interest payable. So why the interest is charged by the seller to the buyer? Because here there will be a delay in paying the making the payment of the cash, the total price of the asset, and hence for such a bearing the delayed payment, so the seller will charge a certain amount, certain interest. So such thing is what we call it as hire purchase price. So mathematically speaking, hire purchase price equals to cash price plus a total interest payable. Now let us see certain features of the hire purchase system here. There is no immediate transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer. However, the buyer enjoys the possession of the property and possession of the asset, and he can makes use of the asset and he goes on making the payments. So when he pays the last installment, there will be a transfer of ownership of the asset from the seller to the buyer. Then the next one comes here, possession of the asset by the hire purchaser. So as he makes the cash down payment, so he can make use, he can possess the asset and he can start making use of the asset by making the payment of the installments here. So he enjoys the possession. So he simply enjoys the possession, but he cannot enjoy the ownership. Then the next one comes here, right of repossession of the asset. Suppose, say for example, if the buyer becomes a defaulter, mean to say if the buyer does not pay the installment in time, in such case the seller, I mean to say the hire vendor, can take the asset back into his custody. So The right of repossession is enjoyed by the vendor provided if the hire purchaser fails to make the payment of the installment. Then risk of loss of asset. So the risk of loss of asset is vested with the vendor only, though the asset is in the position of the hire purchaser here, but the risk of loss of asset is vested with the vendor. In other to say, the hire purchaser is not at all responsible for the loss of asset during the period of the agreement here. So because here he is going to pay the installments as determined in the agreement, so whatever he pays here, it will be considered as the higher charges till he makes the payment of the last installment. So now let us understand what is the meaning of this installment system here. Here installment is also purchase or acquisition of an asset by agreeing to pay the cash price by of installments along with the interest. In other words to say, there is a much similarity between the hire purchase and installment, but however these two are different from each other. In case of this installment system, there is an immediate transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer. In case of installment system, here as the installment buyer makes the payment of the down payment, immediately he can enjoy two rights. One is ownership right and as well as a possession right. In case of the hire purchase, only the possession right is enjoyed by the hire purchaser, but the hire purchaser cannot enjoy the right of ownership. Then in case of the installment system, the installment vendor cannot enjoy the right of repossession of the asset. So in other words to say, if the installment buyer becomes a defaulter, in such case all those the payments in order to recover the price of the asset, he has to sue the installment buyer in the court of law. In other words to say, he cannot get back the asset. So whatever he wants to do, he has to approach to the court of law to recover the remaining installments or to get back the asset. So once the asset is transferred, once the ownership is transferred from the seller to the buyer here, the seller cannot enjoy any right over the such an asset. Now let us make a distinction between a hire purchase and installment system. Here in case of the hire purchase system, the agreement is of hiring. So why it is called as a hiring? Because till the last installment is paid by the hire purchaser, the so far installments paid till now, they are considered as the hire charges. Only when the hire purchaser pays the last installment, he will become the owner of such an asset. In case of installment system, it is an agreement of sale. Why it is because an agreement of sale? Because as and when the installment buyer makes the payment of the down payment, immediately there will be transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer. Secondly, the parties to the hire purchase agreement are known as hire vendor and hire purchaser, whereas the parties to the installment system, they are known as seller and buyer. In case of hire purchase system, there is no immediate transfer of ownership from the hire vendor to the hire purchaser, whereas in case of installment system, there is an immediate transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer. In case of hire purchase system, the hire vendor enjoys or can exercise the right of repossession, whereas in case of installment system, the installment vendor cannot enjoy the right of repossession. In order to recover the subsequent installments or in order to take the asset into his custody, he has to approach to the court of law. So through that only he can get the repossession. Then in case of a hire purchase system, the hire vendor cannot enjoy the right to sue on hire purchaser. That means to say, if the hire purchaser becomes a defaulter, or in other words to say, if he fails to pay the subsequent installments, assume that if there are 10 installments are to be paid by the hire purchaser to the hire vendor, and the hire purchaser has paid 7, but the remaining 3 installments, if they are not paid by the hire purchaser to the hire vendor, for such reason here hire vendor cannot sue the hire purchaser, because he has already received 7 installments which will be considered as hire charges. In case of the installment system, the installment seller enjoys the right to sue the the installment buyer, because there has been already a transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer here. So in order to recover the installments, or in order to repossess the asset, he enjoys a right to sue on installment buyer. In case of the hire purchase system, the relation between the parties is a bailor and a bailee, whereas in case of installment it is a buyer and seller. In case of hire purchase system, the vendor is responsible for the loss of goods, whereas in case of installment system, it is the buyer who is responsible for the loss of asset or the goods here. Now let's move to the calculation of the interest. The calculation of the interest is considered as the core component of this hire purchase agreement here. So the such interest can be calculated in under various circumstances here. So when both cash price and rate of interest is given, when the cash price is not given, when the rate of interest is not given. Now let us discuss these things one by one here. When both cash price and rate of interest are given, in the problem, if you are provided with the cash price of the asset and the rate of interest, then you can easily calculate how much interest is included in each installment. Usually the installment is inclusive of interest and principal amount. So when you calculate the interest on the outstanding balance of the asset, so when you deduct that interest from the installment, you are going to arrive at the principal amount here. Sometimes if the interest installment may not be included with the amount of interest, in such case you should calculate the interest on the outstanding balance, then you should add that interest to the principal, and thereby you are going to ascertain the amount of the installment due by the hire purchaser to the hire vendor. But normally, practically speaking, the installment is always inclusive of interest. When the cash price is not given, in such case here, there will be a rate of interest will be given, and you'll given the principal amount, and you should go for a backward method of calculation. So when you apply this backward method of calculation, so that you are going to arrive at the principal sum, and so that you are going to arrive at the cash price here. In other words to say, when in the problem, if you are not provided with the cash price here, you should go for backward method of calculation, and through that backward method you are going to arrive at the cash price of the asset. I mean to say, you should start from the last installment. Say for example, if it is 11,000 is the last installment, so if the rate of interest is 10%, so 11,000 into 10 divided by 110 you should do. Why? Because as already previously told here, the installment is usually inclusive of the interest. So if rate of interest is 10%, if 10 rupees is the interest, 100 rupees is the principal, so 110 will become the installment here. So if you are given the last installment as 11,000, so 11,000 into 10 divided by 110, so you are going to arrive at 1,000. So 11,000 minus 1,000, 10,000 is the principal. So like this you should continue the calculation, so that you are going to arrive at the cash price of the asset. The next one comes here when the rate of interest is not given. So in the problem, you will be given the higher purchase price, and you will be given the cash price of the asset. So the interest is the difference between the higher purchase price and the cash price of the asset. So you are going to arrive at the total interest payable by the higher purchaser to the higher vendor. So if you have 4 installments, then in such case proportionately you should distribute that interest among the 4 installments, so that you are going to arrive at the amount of interest. So this interest should be added to the principal. You are going to arrive at the installment here. So this is the model of the hire purchase chart here. So it is having a date column or year column, installment or the advance, then the interest, principal, outstanding balance of the asset, and the depreciation. Here for accounting purpose here, the depreciation can be claimed by the hire purchaser here, though he is not the owner of the asset, as he enjoys the possession here, so he can claim, he is eligible for claiming the depreciation here. So now let us see the journal entries in the books of the hire purchaser. For making the cash down payment here, asset account debit to vendor's account. So this asset account is a real account, so debit what comes in, the who is the due, that is the debtor here. So for cash down payment made here, vendor's account debit to cash or bank account. For the installment becomes due here, asset account debit, interest account debit to vendor's account. For payment of the installment, vendor's account debit to bank account. Then for charge of the depreciation on asset, asset account debit to depreciation. For transfer of interest and depreciation at the end of the each year, profit loss account debit to depreciation account and interest account here. The first 2 entries that will come only in the first year here, whereas the subsequent entries, they will be repeated for every year. And one more thing here, the recording of the transactions can be made in under 2 methods here. One is a regular here, and another one is the full cash price method. So in case of the regular here, the asset account will not be debited with the total amount of the cash price. So it will be debited as per the installment here. Whereas in case of the full cash price method here, the total cash price will be debited to the asset account, and thereby it goes on, whenever the installment is received, it will be deducted here. So, but usually the regular system here is it must be debited, the asset should be debited as and when the installment becomes due here. Thank you.